Welcome to the 2021 Materials Research Society Fall Meeting. We are incredibly excited to welcome all of our members back in person to Boston, Massachusetts for 4 days of symposium sessions, keynotes, and award talks, and much more. This is MRS TV. Welcome back to MRS's fall meeting for the final day of the in-person activities. Today, we are speaking with Pupa Gilbert on convergent mesostructure in biominerals, Zachary on the new faculty recruiting event, and we will visit more laboratories and universities who are discovering the materials of tomorrow. But first, over to our co-host Stacy Circasoon for a check-in with a few MRS meeting chairs.
Now we're here to discuss the 2021 MRS Fall Meeting with meeting chairs Cengiz, Ozkan, and Markus Buehler. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you for having us here.
So this week is the accumulation of several years worth of effort. What are some of the highlights you're looking forward at the 2021 MRS Fall Meeting?
Well, for me, probably the plenary and the award lectures and the keynotes that we have worked very hard on, and we're going to see some really exciting new developments in the field by some of the established researchers. I think more broadly, we're very excited about the fact that we're here in 3D. That probably is even more important than the lectures, actually, meeting people, meeting friends and colleagues, and having conversations in the hallways and during coffee break and in the morning and for dinner. That's been really exciting.
Definitely, it's very nice to be back. After being in our own bubble for some time, so that it's very nice to have an in-person meeting. This is actually a journey of nearly 30 months, almost 2.5 years in the making. So by the time we were assigned, we were invited as meeting chairs, so this was back in early 2019. And since then, a continuous work, so with the MRS staff, and we actually determine what kind of clusters that we would like to have in the meeting, and so the symposia are arranged accordingly. And so it's basically on a weekly basis we have been working around the clock, and we are very happy that it's turning out to be a very good meeting.
So are there any particular talks that you guys are anxious to see?
Well, we've been very excited about the plenaries and the keynotes and the award lectures, but I also want to say that one of the really great things about the MRS meetings are the poster sessions where you can meet the students and postdocs, primarily students and postdocs give posters. When you look at the really younger scientists and researchers, they're going to be in this field for 20, 30, 40 years, and you can kind of see what they're thinking about doing and what they care about. And that's very exciting for all of us to see and witness.
Well, Markus and Cengiz, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and best of luck at your hybrid meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As tackling climate change becomes an ever more important priority, Stony Brook University's facilities are responding to the cause. Let's see how.
Stony Brook has traditionally been a leader in material science. More recently, the focus has switched to studying the problem of our generation, climate change.
The challenges that we're taking on are large challenges. These are difficult questions. Collaboration is absolutely critical.
We are developing energy storage technology, materials that will enable nuclear fusion, and the infrastructure for a clean hydrogen economy.
Fundamentally, a lot of that comes down to understand your materials' properties and how they function.
We are educating the next generation of engineers to go out there, work in these large interdisciplinary teams, and be prepared to solve these challenges in the coming decades.
The students, they build that connections of, yes, fundamental science matters. Yes, our science is directly connected to making those technologies better. And it's incredibly exciting to be part of that.
MRS TV is brought to you from the 2021 MRS Fall Meeting. You can find us in person at the Heinz Convention Center, in select hotels, on the homepage of the meeting platform, and online. From award winners to research center visits, it's all on MRS TV.
I'm Pupa Gilbert. I'm a professor of physics at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I'm also a visiting faculty scientist at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. I gave my talk today on diverse but convergent biominerals. Biominerals are fantastically interesting because they've been selected through the course of evolution to do specific functions for the advantage of the host organism. For example, skeletal support. You need a skeleton, and it has to be a hard skeleton to be able to walk, swim, fly, whichever type of animal you are, you need a skeleton to be able to move around efficiently. But of course, skeletal parts cost a lot of energy to produce. So what is the evolutionary advantage is the question that I like to ask, and the answer very frequently has to do with a very cool materials property. For example, today I spoke about the fact that materials become much more resistant to fracture. They become tougher when their adjacent crystals are only slightly misoriented, which I measure at the nanoscale with polarization-dependent imaging contrast mapping. What we learn from biominerals has, of course, been optimized and selected for and refined by evolution. Therefore, it's a tremendous savings of time not to have to do all of that testing that's already happened through millions of years, and we don't have to redo it in the lab, so we can just copy from what happens in nature. And from a material science and material synthesis point of view, that's a tremendous advantage because, of course, we save time and money. For young people that might be looking for a very fertile field of research, I would say biomineralization is your venue. It's what you should be joining. It's a field full of organisms, and the people that actually try to characterize them from either materials point of view, materials performance in structures, properties, mathematically, calculation, simulation, characterization, microscopy, you name it. Whatever skills you already have, I strongly suggest you apply them to a biomineral system because there are so many discoveries that are ready to be made for you to bring your own skills, your own taste into biomineralization and the discovery of new fundamental properties. How do I know that you will make discoveries, you young person listening to me right now? I know because the few organisms that had thus far been studied have panned out brilliantly for whoever tried to make discoveries on them in their own field. And so there are a lot of different discipline scientists that work on biomineralization, but you are one unique person, you will bring your unique contribution, and nature is incredibly generous. There are very diverse organisms, you choose your own, and you fly with it. You can build entire careers on one biomineral or one organism, and you can publish unique articles and make unique discoveries. So it's ideal for a young scientist to explore the field of biomineralization.
We all must start our professional journey somewhere. We wanted to hear from you about someone who mentored or inspired you as a scientist.
Actually, the real moment when I decided to go into science and engineering was this television show called The Next Step on Discovery Channel. And there was a polymer skull that was being 3D printed out of a vat of liquid. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And it's actually what I do now. I 3D print using photopolymerization, which is the same method they used on that show.
So when I was in undergrad, I actually wanted to study more computer science, but then I took some more like physics courses, and one of my physics professors gave a presentation about his research, and I just thought the sort of research that he did in physics was just really inspiring.
You know, one person that it's high on my mind right now is John Goodenough. He really embodies the scientific method, and when I first started becoming familiar with his work, it's become one of the things that made me say, oh, that's what I want to do.
Zachary and Babak Anasori are joining MRS TV today to discuss the Meet the New Faculty Candidates event. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So your Meet the New Faculty Candidates event is both in person and virtual. Can you tell us a little bit both about these sessions?
We've started this event around 2 years ago, where it was an in-person event, and last year we had a virtual event. This year we made it totally hybrid. As part of the hybrid event, we have the in-person poster session here in Boston for the in-person meeting, but also we have 2 virtual events that are happening. We have the new faculty candidates have 3-minute elevator pitches through Pathable, as well as we have an interactive virtual session happening this upcoming week where faculty candidates can meet different search committees in an interactive, fun virtual session.
So what are some of the goals you guys have for this event?
Of course, we want to give a chance for the new faculty candidates to meet one another as well as the different search committees. But one of the main goals we have for the new faculty candidates is providing them an opportunity to communicate their passion for teaching, their commitment to service, and of course, their research vision for maybe a new research group in the future.
So what are some strategies candidates can use to kind of navigate their way through the job search?
Having an opportunity to really connect with the different search committees and network with different members within the MRS is an awesome opportunity for all these new faculty candidates to get their research out there.
And also, faculty application is not only about putting your CV together or writing a cover letter. It's about developing your vision on research, teaching, and diversity and inclusion. So it requires a lot of thinking.
Yeah, and one of the key things with our event is it gives the new faculty candidates an opportunity to really practice communicating their whole package as a new faculty candidate.
You are part of the MRS Early Career Subcommittee. What are some other activities that your group has presented or are working on?
Our subcommittee is only about 3 years old, but we already have organized more than a dozen webinars. We also organized a symposium on early career development last year.
So now the big question, if somebody wanted to be involved with the Early Career Professional Subcommittee, who should they contact?
Yeah, so if anyone is thinking that there is a need for a new addition to MRS, they can simply contact us by just searching us online or email volunteer@mrs.org.
Well, thank you so much, Zach and Babak, for joining us. And I wish you guys the best of luck on your future.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
The Materials and Manufacturing Directorate at the Air Force Research Laboratory develops materials, processes, and manufacturing for a variety of aerospace uses. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the Air Force Research Laboratory's Materials and Manufacturing Directorate. We invent the stuff that makes the future for the Air Force and the Space Force. Our mission's unique in that we have an outstanding cadre of expert scientists and engineers that push the state of the possible to ensure the materials are available for our warfighters, as well as the manufacturability, the inspection technologies, and the sustainability of those technologies, so that when one of our men and women in the Air Force or Space Force uses something, they have confidence that that technology is going to deliver what they need it to deliver. We're really excited about bringing together very diverse teams, not only material scientists, but chemists, physicists, information technologists, data analytics. Those are all the types of technologies that need to come together to ensure we can continue to develop new stuff that will make the future.
So the title of my talk, Can You Get a Job with a Degree in Material Science, I have to attribute to my parents. And they asked me this question when I first decided and shared with them that I was going to major in material science and engineering while I was an undergraduate at the University of Pennsylvania. My parents have actually very different experiences in their own lives, and they just didn't know what engineering was or material science. Now that I was off to college, they really wanted to know whether in the end, I would be able to get a job. And so I would happy to say that the answer to that question is yes. But as we look at the job market right now, I would say, boy, the job market is very good, right? There are actually a lot of jobs. I'm finding, my own students, right, are being hired very quickly. And I think that as you talk to our colleagues who are in industry, who are here at the meeting or elsewhere that we know from the community, they're actually having trouble filling jobs. So it's a great time to be on the job market. Obviously, diversity, equity, inclusion, I think, is broadly of interest to our community. We renewed sort of the opportunity and importance to the society of having a diverse membership and supporting the careers of diverse members of our community. And really, as we look at it, we really put ourselves to the test of asking ourselves, so what could we do and what actions could we take that's really more than words that really support the community? And so that's where some of the opportunities like special interest groups and ways to really support the careers and get people involved from very diverse groups that really, I think, bring together and help people to understand broadly what are the opportunities and what are opportunities for material science and for people. As we're here, I think everybody really appreciates that it's really different to get to know people personally and the opportunity to make those connections and have those communications at an in-person meeting.
The Macromolecular Chemistry group at Martin Luther University in Germany is dedicated toward the synthesis of novel polymers. Their aim is to generate improved materials for everyday use. Let's see how.
We address the challenge to increase the sustainability of polymers by developing novel chemical concepts to improve their lifetime and recyclability.
Batteries are the most promising storage devices, for example, for reaching clean mobility. We are developing novel self-healing polymer electrolytes for the new generation high-energy density lithium-ion batteries to meet emerging demands in electronic, automotive industry and other energy storage systems.
We are designing, synthesizing and analyzing polymers, representing key molecules which are widely used in society. These large molecules are known as structural materials in automobiles or aeroplanes, but are used in biomedicine, modern energy, or information technology as well. We invite you to come here to conduct research in polymer sciences in our laboratories.
That is all for the third and final day of MRS TV from Boston, but that's not all for the 2021 MRS Fall Meeting. The sessions, awards, and interviews continue virtually on December 6th, so be sure to tune in. And just a reminder, find us right here at the Heinz Convention Center, as well as in select hotels, on the homepage of the meeting platform, and of course, you can always find us online.
It's not too late to submit an abstract for the 2022 MRS Spring Meeting. Late news, hot topic abstracts will be accepted from December 16th to January 5th. Be sure to submit your abstract and join us in Honolulu for a perfect week of sun, scenery, and science. Pre-registration opens in January. We hope to see you there.
MRS offers discounted memberships for those working or studying in developing countries. These memberships are funded by the Materials Research Society Foundation. Visit the MRS website to learn more.
Nominate an outstanding paper published in 2021 for JMR's 8th Annual Paper of the Year. The award recognizes excellence in advancing materials knowledge through written scholarship. The nomination deadline is January 19. The award will be presented at the 2022 MRS Spring Meeting.
The MRS Communications Lecture recognizes excellence in materials research through impactful and influential work published in MRS Communications. The senior author of the chosen outstanding paper will be invited to present a lecture at the 2022 MRS Spring Meeting in Honolulu, Hawaii. Nominations are open to papers published in MRS Communications from January 1st through December 31st, 2021. Submit your nomination by January 24th.
Since 1990, the MRS Spring Meeting has been held in only 2 locations, San Francisco and Phoenix, and has always been tied to Easter weekend. All of that changes in 2022, when the MRS Spring Meeting goes on the road. Honolulu, San Francisco, and Seattle have been selected because they are considered Tier 1 locations for meetings and conferences. They are diverse metropolitan areas and premier destinations for arts and entertainment. These rotations will foster regional and student attendance. We hope you'll join us this May in Honolulu.
The MRS On Demand webinar series offers an opportunity to learn about cutting-edge topics while networking with other researchers from around the globe. We invite you to join us in December for a series of government funding opportunity sessions. Visit mrs.org/webinars for a full listing of upcoming dates and topics. Thank you to our 2021 MRS Fall Meeting Symposium supporters. Your support of a symposium session helps symposium organizers provide a high-quality technical program and encourages participation from researchers from around the world. Visit the MRS website to learn more about the MRS Symposium Support Program and how you can share in the Society's commitment to the advancement of scientific research.